welcome to my channel. My name is Anna and I am a lover and collector of all things makeup, costumes, and wigs. And today I wanted to share with all of you my top 10 most used brushes. So welcome to Top 10 Tuesday. If you want to see which are the top 10 most used brushes in my collection, just keep watching. First off, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you do like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Now, I'm gonna let you know, these are all pretty tiny. I don't think I have a very large face, and I have pretty deep set, smaller eye sockets, I guess. And so I need pretty small brushes in order to get into all those nooks and crannies in there. So, my number 10 most used brush. Oh, and I will say too that these are not the only brushes I use. These are just the ones that I tend to reach for all the time. Number 10, we have the Zoeva 317 wing liner, and it's in the rose gold category. It's just an angled brush. And I'm not exactly sure why I love this angled brush more than my other ones. Maybe it's because of the very small, it's really small from like this point to this point. It's not very wide. I think that's what makes it very nice for me. And I tend to use this for my eyebrows more than anything else. If I'm using a powder or a pomade or something like that, I will use this brush to shape my eyebrows, and it always comes out looking really nice. So I love, love, love this brush. Number 9, I have a Morphe M213, and this is a very little flat brush that's round on the top. And what I usually use this for is shimmers on my inner corner, and you can see how small it is compared to my eye. But I'll use it on my inner corner, and then I'll use it under my brow bone. And this seems to work pretty well for that, and it's small enough that I can actually do that. The other thing I'll use this for sometimes is my my lower lash line, to get it really close in there, and also to be able to use if I want to do different colors, like a rainbow with a few different colors on my lower lash line. This works really well for that. All right, number 8, I have a Natasha Joy Cosmetics F08 lip brush. And this is somewhat similar to the other one. It's a little flatter and it's a little bit taller, but it's pretty small this way. It's a very small flat brush, which for me works really well for when I'm trying to do a cut crease, or yeah, basically that's what I use it for, is when I need to do a detailed line with cream on my eye, because as you can see, it's really small. One second. So I want to show you the difference between this little guy and the others that I might use. As you can see, it's much, much smaller than any of my other flat brushes. If I used something like this to try to do a cut crease, it would just, it takes up half my eye. And so that's not gonna be very useful. But this gives me a lot of room to work with detail, and I find that really helpful. These I use more for just if I need like a whole splash of, if I'm putting my primer on or something, which I usually do with my fingers, but every once in a while I'll use a brush if I'm really going all out. So that was the Natasha Joy Cosmetics F08 lip brush, which I use for my eyes. It does work as a lip brush as well, but I tend not to use lip brushes, so. All right, number 10, 9, 8, 7. I have this Natasha Joy Cosmetics F07 Precision Highlight. I love this brush. It's, again, it's small. It's small, so I can use, you know, I can get detail work, and it's not gonna leave just like a huge wash all over my entire cheek of highlight. It's just, you know, and it's rounded at the top, so I can really, if I use a light hand, just get a tiny bit there. Love this brush. It works really well. I use it mostly for highlight. I suppose if it were clean, I would also use it for powder, maybe. But yeah, I use this for highlight, and it works really well. Number 6, I have here a Morphe M507. Again, this is a very small blender, which is perfect for my deep set eyes. It has kind of a point at the top. It's not super rounded, and so I can really get in there, and when I'm blending out, I use this a lot for detailed blending when, say that I have my deeper shade on my outer corner, I can kind of blend that out on the side here and up into my transition shade or whatnot. And it works really well because it's very, very small. I'll compare it to the next brushes that I'm gonna show you, and that's kind of a regular blending brush. And you can see how much bigger that is against my eye. And so for me, that tiny blending brush is just what the doctor ordered. I love that brush. All right, now this next one, I couldn't exactly decide because I just like all of these brushes, and they're kind of just the same thing, but I use them pretty interchangeably. I don't know. So I just thought I would sort of categorize this type of brush all together, just in case maybe you have one of these and not all of them. It sort of spans a certain use, all 3 of these, and I just like them all, so I wanted to share them all. But this is, it's basically just kind of a medium-sized blending brush or crease brush that just goes, it'll just put a wash of color across my whole lid. This is what I use when I just want to put a wash of color all the way, and it's usually going to be a lighter to maybe mid-tone shade. Anyways, so this is the Morphe M518, the Odins Eye FR6, and this is just a Clionadh crease brush or maybe blending brush, I'm not sure which. It doesn't have anything written on it, but also how cute is that? I love these handles, and so that's partially why I wanted to put this in here. And this Odins Eye brush is so soft, and this Morphe brush is just the perfect shape. And what I kind of like about these is they're flat enough on the top that they really will deposit the color, but they're also rounded enough so that they can really cover a large area. And so that's why I love these. Hopefully my camera's focusing on those. I don't have a monitor. Anyways, I love these for a wash of color all over the lid. And as you can see, they're not particularly big. There are bigger blending brushes out there. I like the smaller to mid-sized ones. All right, number 4, I have my Odins Eye FR6 brush. And this is just a little round brush. It's round all the way around. I don't know if you can see it that way. But this brush, this is actually newer to me. I got it maybe 3 weeks ago. It has quickly become one of my most used brushes. I use this almost every time I want a really deep shade on my outer corner. Again, my deep set eyes, and they're pretty hooded too. I have these kind of crevices right here. And so this really, really gets in there and is able to deposit that deep color, and it doesn't get all over the place. It has kind of a pointed, not a pointed tip, but like a round pointed tip. It's just perfect, and it's so soft. It's just so soft. I love, 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 love this brush. I feel like maybe if I could only keep one brush, this might be the one. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do that. I couldn't choose, but this is definitely one of my absolute favorite brushes in my collection, and it's new, and I use it every time I do my makeup. So, all right, Number 3, I have my Natasha Joy Cosmetics F06 Precision Blender. This is an itty bitty powder brush. And as you can see, it's very tapered, but also, you know, round enough at the top. It's very, very soft. But I have sort of an angular face and, like I said, deep set eyes. I don't know if you can see how it really goes in there. But this is so helpful to get powder on that under eye area where I need to get in there with little details. And sometimes I will use a bigger powder brush, but honestly, this is just kind of my go-to powder brush for everything, you know? And I mostly just powder my T-zone, but, you know, gets in and around my nose, into that little chin crevice. It's so good. This is just such a handy dandy brush. Precision powder is exactly what this is, and I love it to pieces, and so soft. Number 2, in the spirit of, I have very tiny eyes that have a lot of little crevices in there. This is the Morphe M443 brush, and it's itty bitty teeny weeny. And I love it so much for basically right here. This little tiny corner. I have a really hard time getting pigment in there because it's basically, there's just a divot. And one side, I don't remember which one, I have a scar, and so it goes in even deeper. And so this, when I need to get color in that little corner, it's really hard for me to get color in there with a brush. Even this guy, it's really hard to get in there without getting it all over the place. This just has that, it's large enough that I can actually deposit pigment. There are some smaller, you know, liner brushes that don't quite, I can't get enough pigment, but this one is just perfect for that little tiny corner to just fill that in when I need to get in there. I used it today to get that blue on the bottom all the way into the corner. So that's a very handy brush as well. Okay, number 1. This brush is so near and dear to my heart. I believe it is my oldest brush. I think it has been in my collection the longest, and I wonder if that's why I use it or not, but this is my blush brush, and this is a MAC 129. So this has been in my collection for years and years and years and years and years. I think it might be, I think it's my oldest brush. I think I have had this for the longest, and it has lasted forever. It's just lasted so well. And I use this for blush. That's what I use it for. It is my favorite blush brush. It's small enough. It's tapered a bit. It's a little bit smaller this way than it is this way. The ferrule's pinched here. And so, I don't know, just something about that round shape and every angle is just perfect to apply blush. I can get, you know, if I use a light hand, I have that smaller side here where I can kind of get a line where I want to be really precise. Or I can, you know, I don't know, it just works really well for blush for me, the placement, and maybe it's just that I'm used to it, I've had it forever. And I mean, you can even still see the writing on it, which, this is a good brush. I paid dearly for it. I was very young when I got this, and I, you know, spent a lot of money on it for me at the time. And I'm so glad I did. It is my favorite brush. I don't know about favorite, but certainly my most sort of beloved, with the best memories attached. And yeah, that's my MAC 129 for blush. Love it. Highly recommend. All right, I actually had just a couple honorable mentions, and that is my Clionadh Spoolie. I just love these handles. I think they are so pretty. And usually I use the spoolies on my brow pencils, but if I ever need a spoolie outside of those, I use this. It's a great spoolie, and it's, you know, soft enough that it's nice, but firm enough that it actually does the job, and it's just so pretty. So honorable mention. Other honorable mention is my fingers, my digits, especially these little tiny ones, because often these shimmery eyeshadows just work better with a finger. I'm gonna do a couple swatches. I have this Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde, which is what I'm wearing today. Super pretty. It's a little bit light. The shades in here are very light. I have a hard time deepening it up, but they are very pretty and ethereal. But let's see. So if I do my finger on this one and this one, we'll do 3. We'll do 3. And then we'll do a brush, and I'll just show you the difference. Oh, that's so pretty. All right, so finger, finger, finger. So as you can see, the top 3 here are much more pigmented. It picks up and sets down on my skin. And I find this true, you know, on my eyelids as well, that if I use my finger, it just works better than a brush. It's just more pigmented. It just packs a little more punch. So just something that I wanted to mention, that I often use my fingers when I'm putting stuff on my eyes. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that this was helpful. Maybe you have small eyes and needed some recommendations for some brushes that would work. So I'm pretty sure all of these are still available. But yeah, these are definitely my favorites at the moment. Like I said, I do use other brushes, but these are the winners, and I love them. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me for my Top 10 Tuesday. I hope you're having a magical day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.